Give your heart to the wrong lover, and passion soon turns to pain.
Did you bring your handcuffs?
A casual affair leads to dangerous fantasies.
She went from being obsessed to an obsessed stalker.
But what about me?
A mistreated young woman seeks revenge.
He miscalculated her for being a complete and total pushover.
Not today.
And an English mom can't handle rejection.
She instigated the whole murderous episode.
A truly evil, manipulative woman.
For these deadly women, romance is complicated. Their affairs are illicit and lethal. In the small town of Sonora, in the heart of California's gold country, Ricky Roberts is the town hero.
He was well known, he was popular, he was a demolition derby car driver.
Ain't I a spoiled man?
Good customers deserve special treatment.
They hit it off almost right away.
For 42-year-old waitress Cheryl Lucero, Ricky is the catch of the day.
She played up to him like crazy.
You need a cheer squad?
Always.
The problem was, he was married.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you sure will.
Well, how about tonight?
How about yes?
Okay.
Cheryl definitely knew that Ricky was married, and I don't believe that that would have bothered her.
In early 2010, against his better judgment, Ricky finds himself in Cheryl's bed.
Ricky wasn't a serial philanderer. He was a good family man. And something about Cheryl turned his head.
Hey, you all right?
Yes. Feel a little guilty.
Hey, it's just our tiny little secret.
Soon, Cheryl starts seeing herself as the new Mrs. Roberts. But she's got a problem of her own.
Hi, hon.
She is also in a long-term relationship.
What's wrong?
I'm leaving you.
Chris was a real decent guy. He was steadily employed, and he helped support her and her children, and helped raise her children as if they were his own.
Cheryl, I love you.
Don't.
And the kids, it's like I'm their father.
I've made up my mind.
She left him, and according to him, for no apparent reason. He didn't know why she had decided to end the relationship.
Cheryl's affair with Ricky has to remain a secret. As well as being a derby champion,
Did you bring your handcuffs?
he's a volunteer policeman with a fine reputation.
Ricky was the first guy she'd been with that was, a big fish in a small pond.
I thought we could catch a movie.
Baby, you know we can't do that.
Why not?
Because this is our personal time.
He would never see her anywhere except where they had their personal time.
But now Cheryl wants all in. She wants the town to know she's landed Ricky Roberts.
She had a different understanding of where their relationship was going than Ricky did.
I want to show you something.
You're insane.
Cheryl did have a tattoo of Ricky Roberts' demolition derby car.
It had to feel a little creepy. That tattoo was a clear message to the world. Ricky is mine, or he's no one's.
Cheryl is planning a little demolition derby of her own to dislodge the current Mrs. Roberts. Cheryl starts stalking her.
For some women, it's not so much that they're in love with the married man as they are in competition with his wife.
I swear that lady is following me.
What? Do you know her?
No.
They like the idea of stealing a man away from another woman.
Now Cheryl's obsession knows no bounds.
She'd gone so far as to make wedding invitations with her name and Ricky's name on them.
It was really bizarre. It was like she thought by acting this stuff out, she could just make it come true by her own will.
Ricky is happily married with no intention of leaving his wife. Cheryl is undeterred.
She wanted to start a new life with Ricky.
She also had a shrine in her house to him and articles of his clothing. This is way over the top.
It was covered with his pictures and pieces of his clothing and little souvenirs she picked up from his races. Her expectations were very delusional.
In her mind, she was going to be Ricky's next wife.
She built this little alternative universe for herself, where she and Ricky were about to get married and everything was going to be wonderful.
In truth, Ricky is furious at Cheryl for stalking his wife.
Hey, stranger.
What are you doing here?
Well, I haven't heard from you, have I?
Ricky just had enough.
We're done, okay? You understand? Done. Yeah, we're done.
No, 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 no.
He ended the relationship.
Basically told her to leave him alone.
Ricky!
When he broke up with her, she fell apart.
Cheryl did not accept that, and she obsesses about everything. Something bad was bound to happen.
In Sonora, California, demolition derby star Ricky Roberts has ended his affair with Cheryl Lucero, but she can't accept it's over.
She started, in his words, to stalk him.
When he broke up with her, she went from being obsessed to an obsessed stalker.
Ricky is getting worried.
Hey, Ricky, come in.
He calls on his police friends looking for advice.
What's up?
I'm being stalked by a woman.
Ricky brought to the attention to somebody at the police department that he was having issues with a lady.
She's following Wendy.
He never did file a formal report. Really, he thought Cheryl was a little nutty and needy, but he didn't think she was a danger.
Ricky is dead wrong. Cheryl is becoming unhinged as it becomes crystal clear she will not be getting her man.
Cheryl wrote a very strange letter to her mother and another to her daughter. She wrote about how she loved Ricky unconditionally and with all her heart and soul. If she couldn't have Ricky, no one would.
I don't believe that Ricky knew that she had that level of a dark side to her. I doubt that he had ever seen it.
2 days after Valentine's Day, 2014, Cheryl pays one last visit.
Hi, Ricky.
Don't seem to get it, dude. What are you doing?
She brought a loaded gun. I think there was only one outcome she was considering.
Put the gun down. You don't need to do that.
Here's this crazy woman that he's dumped in front of him with a gun.
On your knees.
So he drops to his knees and begs her to not shoot him.
What's it gonna do?
Nothing.
I'm sure it was very terrifying.
She was going to take his life for the unforgivable sin of breaking up with her.
She's a murderer. I don't know what else to say about her.
Many of the police officers called to the murder scene are friends of Ricky's. Sergeant Ryan Killian is one of the first officers to arrive.
So seeing him in that position shocked me. It wasn't what you would expect if you knew Rick Roberts. He'd volunteered thousands of hours with the police department. He was considered a member of our team, and it was heartbreaking.
Cheryl thinks she's ended her pain, but she doesn't know Ricky has previously flagged his concerns with the police. They soon come knocking.
Most people that commit murder don't plan it out very well. Cheryl certainly fell into that category.
When they search her house, police find a strange memento.
That shell casing that had been used to shoot Ricky Roberts was found in her bedroom. Cheryl kept a shell casing from the crime scene.
We found these in your apartment.
Undone by her habit of collecting Ricky memorabilia, Cheryl has to think quickly, so she attempts to incriminate her ex.
The one man who was good to her and her kids, she throws under the bus for murder. And he was at work at the time, so that didn't work.
I shot him, but it was an accident.
Didn't look like no accident to me.
In 2015, Cheryl Lucero is convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 50 years to life.
Cheryl was always a little over-the-top obsessed with Ricky, but after the breakup, she became a rejected stalker. And what they want is one of two things. First, reconciliation. When they don't get that, they want revenge.
A good man made an error in judgment, and it cost his life.
When a woman's heart is set on marriage,
that would be music to her ears.
Love can blind her to the truth.
That's just the most awful suggestion. Unbelievable.
(1893) is a big year for 22-year-old Maria Barbella. Her family emigrates from rural Italy for a new life in the Big Apple.
It had to have been a huge shock for her to come from a small place in southern Italy to New York City at that time.
Maria's determined to get ahead. She gets a job as a seamstress.
You proposed?
And has big dreams for her future that don't involve a needle and thread.
You meet someone, eh?
She wanted to be a wife and a mother.
She's looking for a happily ever after.
On the streets of New York, Maria encounters an entrepreneur who catches her eye. Fellow migrant Domenico Cataldo runs a shoeshine stand.
Signorina.
She noticed him right away. She thought he was handsome. She thought that he was a prince. Domenico was a flirt. He considered himself quite the Romeo.
Maria had no experience with men. She'd never even had a boyfriend. She'd never been kissed.
Come.
That's him.
Is he waiting for you?
I hope so.
As a virtuous woman, Maria could never make the first move.
Signorina, may I please have the pleasure of walking you home?
But she doesn't have to.
When he smiled, his eyes sparkled. She thought he was just incredibly handsome.
They were from the same region in Italy, and that made her feel comfortable with him.
She's hoping and praying that she's going to see herself in the role of princess to his prince.
Maria was as giddy as a schoolgirl over this attention and the prospect of being his wife.
What, Mama?
You're so happy lately, Maria.
Maria can't contain her excitement from her mother, Filomena.
I've met a man.
I'd better meet him. Bring him to dinner.
You like him.
I'd better. Oh, Maria.
Her parents really wanted to meet him. What are your intentions toward our daughter, young man?
The strict traditions of the day mean women can't get physical until they're married.
What's wrong?
You promised you would come to meet my parents.
I'm sorry, I'll come on Sunday.
You promise?
Promise.
In the 19th century, in Little Italy, young women were expected to get married and to be virtuous.
But Domenico doesn't want to wait.
How dare you!
Maria!
Maria was not interested in that at all. That was something you saved for marriage.
His brutish behavior shatters Maria's romantic dream. She turns to her mother for advice.
Maria! How could you let this happen?
I'm sorry, Mama.
You should never have been alone with him.
The most valuable thing a young woman had was her virtue and her virginity.
You could have been ruined for life.
In fact, oftentimes she had very few options if it was known that she wasn't a virgin.
You are forbidden from ever seeing him again.
It seems the fairy tale is over, and Maria's happy ending will never be.
You understand?
I think it was very hard for Maria, but she understood what was at stake.
For months, Maria obeys her family's wishes. Until one day, without warning, Domenico turns up at her work.
Maria, please, wait.
She didn't want anything to do with him. She brushed past him.
But Domenico knows exactly how to win her back.
I will marry you.
Why should I believe you?
Because I love you.
You mean it?
Yes, of course.
I have to tell Mom.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
This was the happy ending she wanted. This was her fairy tale prince saying, I'll marry you.
If only life and love could be that simple.
Domenico was a skirt chaser, plain and simple.
Love is in the air on the streets of New York. After a shaky start to their relationship, Domenico Cataldo proposes to 22-year-old Maria Barbella.
And that just put wings on her feet.
She runs home and tells her parents.
Now that Domenico is her fiancé,
To us.
To us.
Maria is willing to go on a date to celebrate.
But after only a few sips, Maria became dizzy and lightheaded.
Marie, you okay?
I think I'm going to faint.
In all likelihood, he put something like opium, laudanum, something liquid into her drink, something that she couldn't even detect. Her head began to spin.
Domenico really was a scoundrel.
Having a drink spiked is the same thing as a date rape drug today. It takes away all the possibility of consent.
Let me take you home.
This is so demeaning to her as a woman, so calculatedly cold.
Domenico's first felony was drugging her. His second felony was raping her.
I'd like to congratulate you on your virgin purity.
As the realization that she had been raped dawned on her, she would have been horrified.
You're a woman now.
And it only gets worse. Domenico says he will never marry her.
You like my cooking. You want me in your bed. Then why won't you marry me?
This is why. It's my wife and children. They're still in Italy.
Domenico had a wife and family back in Italy. He kept that to himself.
No, you're lying. But what about me?
He then offers an indecent proposal.
I'll find a man who will marry you.
Domenico makes a peace offering with Maria. He says, well, I won't marry you, but I'll find you someone else to marry.
I'll tell him you're a widow. I'll visit you when he's at work.
We'll dress you up in black, say you're a widow, which would explain not being a virgin, and I'll come visit you on the side. That was his solution to the problem.
What about me? What about me?
Maria!
Maria even asked her mother, Philomena, to please come and help persuade Domenico, to help him find his senses.
It is all too much for her mother.
I will talk to you.
She insists Domenico makes her daughter an honest woman.
You.
What?
You marry my daughter, or she will never be able to hold her head up again.
But there's a price to pay.
Give me $200 and I'll marry her.
Maria, we are leaving.
I will ask you one last time. Will you marry me?
She turns to him and says, this is your last chance.
Not even a pig will marry you.
That caused her to snap.
Maria was pushed to a point by him that she could not tolerate.
It was quick and it was deadly. he wouldn't have known what had hit him.
He misunderstood and miscalculated her for being a complete and total pushover.
With so many witnesses, Maria is immediately charged with first-degree murder. But her case will become the talk of New York. At her trial, the all-male jury don't hear details of her abuse at the hands of Domenico. They see it as a public killing and convict her of murder.
Maria was sentenced to the electric chair.
Her fate seemed sealed.
But the court of public opinion doesn't agree, particularly the women of New York. They think she has grounds for justifiable homicide and campaign for 3 years until she gets a retrial.
The jury hears her story for the first time.
Not even a pig will marry you.
The jury found her not guilty, and she walked out of court.
But justice isn't finished yet. Maria meets another man and lives happily ever after, raising their family.
And that's really all she ever wanted. The prince turned out to be the Blackheart prince, but the princess triumphed in her own fairy tale.
Did Maria kill Domenico? Yes, she did. Was it justifiable homicide? Maybe it was. Is it completely understandable? Oh, yes.
For some women,
she used her body to get her own way.
Sharing is not an option.
She would not take no for an answer.
Under any circumstances.
There was no turning back for her.
Birmingham, England, 2008. Music store owner, 33-year-old Tanveer Iqbal, has a regular visitor.
Back for more?
Love my music.
Just admit, you came to see me.
I'm a married woman.
And I'm a married man.
31-year-old Zatoun Bibi is smitten.
She was in an arranged marriage. Her husband worked. She stayed home and took care of their 4 children.
Do you have trapdoor?
He was not only charming, he wasn't traditional, as in the way her own husband was.
Thank you.
Let me know if you need anything else.
Neither can resist temptation.
That first night was the very first time Zatoun had ever strayed from her marriage.
But, as often happens with one-night stands, regret follows close behind.
You okay?
You shouldn't be here. I'm married. I'm a mum.
She felt immensely guilty afterwards.
I've got to go.
And there, one woman's fantasy should have ended. But it doesn't.
They only had one night together, and Zatoun became pregnant.
It's me. We need to talk. I gotta go. I'll call you back.
You okay?
Not feeling great.
Zatoun made out to her husband that she'd got pregnant by him.
After 4 kids, I thought you'd be used to it by now.
Easy for you to say.
Since she had already been pregnant 4 times, it would be easy to pass this one off as her husband's.
Zatoun's husband, Gul, is excited to be a father again. During her pregnancy, she has no contact with her lover, Tanveer. But when the baby arrives, she can't help but share.
Hello, my little girl. Can I hold her?
Of course.
Zatoun arranged for Tanveer to see the baby secretly and regularly.
She's perfect. Just like her mum.
The union rekindles the couple's connection.
Our perfect little secret.
And secret visits
That's Mum.
soon become a regular thing.
He wanted to be a part of the child's life.
The pair become lovers again, but this time it will be more than a one-night stand. At least for as long as their secret lasts.
And her husband discovered photographs of her with her lover and the child.
When were you going to tell me?
I'm sorry, I didn't know how.
And alongside those photos were photographic images of the DNA test that proved it was her lover's child.
Look, I love you and our kids, please.
You're a disgrace.
He was livid.
I want you gone by the morning.
Gul insists on an Islamic divorce, and Zatoun moves out of the family home.
He was so embarrassed and felt so humiliated by what had happened.
The split has a silver lining. Under Islamic law, Zatoun is now free to be with another man.
Maybe I'm better off without him.
Tanveer welcomes her with open arms. He wants to bring her into his family through another Islamic marriage.
What about your wife?
She'll understand.
At first, the arrangement with first wife Nasreen seems to go well, with both women accepting their shared role.
The pair even became quite close friends, despite the fact that Nasreen was a much more traditional woman.
I'll send you the recipe. Tanveer loves it.
That would be great, thank you.
But things are not what they seem. Zatoun won't be sharing her man any longer than necessary.
This whole relationship was based about trying to break down Nasreen's relationship with Tanveer.
Because she hoped to eventually come between them, and then she'd have him all to herself.
In Birmingham, England, Zatoun Bibi is getting tired of being a second wife.
Where are you going?
Going home. Nasreen and I have a dinner with my parents.
Her Islamic husband, Tanveer Iqbal, leads 2 lives under 2 different roofs.
But I want you to stay. We could go another round.
Not today.
Zatoun finally got fed up with being the other wife.
The couple have a second child together, so now Tanveer has obligations to both his families.
You're always leaving me for her.
She's my wife.
Tanveer made it clear his loyalty was to his first wife. That had to make Zatoun a little bit crazy. After all, she was the mother of his 2 children.
And Zatoun decided that this was the time to drive a wedge between her lover and his wife.
She was making a play, her end game, to getting Tanveer as her one and only love.
Zatoun even sent a message to Nazreen saying, "You were his parents' choice, I was his choice."
She probably thought, she'll kick him out and I'm here to catch him.
But that's not what happens.
Why would you do that?
She's lying. I didn't do it. She has it in for me.
Zatoun even tried to blame it on Nazreen by claiming that she had asked her to send her the photographs.
Stop lying! You're a snake!
She made me send the photos, and now she's making me look bad.
You think this is a game? Shut up! Just shut up!
Zatoun's grand scheme backfired.
I'm done with you!
Tanveer was livid.
Tanveer!
Those sexually explicit photographs forced Tanveer to finally say to Zatoun, "It's over."
That left Zatoun out in the cold.
On January 31st, 2016, there's an olive branch. Zatoun offers the father of her 2 children a birthday party.
Zatoun texted him to persuade him to come and see his 2 children, and they'd even made a cake for him.
He's coming.
It will be his last birthday alive.
Tanveer turned up expecting a birthday cake with his children.
Where are the kids?
But the 2 young children weren't at the flat.
Zatoun is out for revenge and turns to unexpected allies. Her ex-husband and her 15-year-old son.
Some say Zatoun's ex-husband helped her because he didn't want their divorce to become public. I say he helped her because he wanted to see Tanveer dead for ruining his marriage.
They had the element of surprise.
Keep him down!
And Zatoun had obviously whipped both her ex-husband and her son into a frenzy to kill.
Zatoun and her ex are reunited by revenge.
What kind of woman would recruit her own 15-year-old son to murder her lover?
And we can only think about what an effect of what that child saw that day will have on the rest of his life. She'd made sure there was a TV box for the body to go into, and the 3 of them managed to manhandle the body into the boot of Tanveer's car.
Zatoun then drove off in the car and dumped the vehicle.
When Tanveer fails to turn up for his birthday celebrations, his wife reports him missing, and concerned friends start their own search.
His car was spotted by a friend who had alerted the police, and they came to the scene and found Tanveer's body in the boot.
With obvious signs of foul play, the case turns into a murder investigation. And the mystery doesn't take long to solve.
Birmingham has probably more spy cameras than anywhere else in Britain, if not the world.
And this proved Zatoun's undoing. They found CCTV of her driving Tanveer's car. She hadn't wiped her mobile phone, and there was loads of text messages between her and Tanveer, imploring him, begging him to come to a birthday party. So pretty quickly they were building a case.
Police arrest Zatoun, but she tries to pin it solely on her husband.
It was all your father. Say it.
It was all him.
Good boy.
She just wanted to save her own skin.
We didn't do anything.
And of course, the calls were recorded.
And when they hear it in court, they'll see that we're innocent.
But the police knew that she instigated the whole murderous episode.
In 2016, all three are found guilty of murder. Gul Nawaz receives life with a minimum of 25 years. Their son must serve a minimum of 6 years. Zatoun Bibi receives life with a minimum of 27 years.
A truly evil, manipulative woman. And in the end, when she didn't get her own way, she snapped.
The thrill of an illicit affair turns Zatoun Bibi from a suburban mom to deceitful mistress to cold-blooded killer.
Love triangles are inherently dangerous for all three people, including the innocent.
These deadly women went from being lovers to haters. Cheryl Lucero killed the man she couldn't have. Maria Barbella turned the tables on her abusive boyfriend. And Zatoun Bibi wouldn't accept being dumped. All three had affairs to remember that were illicit and lethal.